Exposed. My heart-wrenching journey after my son's shocking text, a life-changing twist. The autumn sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the trees, their leaves swirling like the storm brewing in Claire's heart. She was a fighter, a single mother battling tooth and nail to carve out a brighter future for her son Jake. But today her phone buzzed with a text that sent panic coursing through her veins. I'm done trying. I won't let you down. Claire's breath caught in her throat. Those words struck deep like lightning. She could feel the weight of despair settling in her chest. Thoughts raced. Had she pushed him too hard? Was all her struggle for nothing? With heavy footsteps, she left her cramped apartment where the paint was peeling, and the light flickered in solidarity with her struggle. In her second job at the local diner, she overheard whispers between customers, faces she recognized but never truly knew. He's embarrassed. His family can't even afford new shoes. A voice leaked out, dripping with judgment. Claire felt a chill run down her spine. They were talking about her son. Anger flared inside her, igniting a fierce need to defend him. She stopped serving trays, clenching her fists as she overheard laughter, mocking whispers about those people struggling to make ends meet. Claire had always thought the town was a safety net, a community ready to catch those who fall. But now she felt like an outcast, her heart aching for Jake. After a long shift, Claire made a decision. No longer could she hide behind the veil of shame. She'd confront this judgment head-on. Every day as her tired feet shuffled across the pavement, she knocked on doors. She told her story to neighbors, to small business owners who might understand the struggles they faced. Some opened their hearts, but too many turned their backs, dismissive of her plight. Success has a price, one woman replied, her gaze cold as ice, and not everyone is cut out for it. The word stung, each syllable echoing in Claire's mind. Yet, the flicker of hope within her refused to extinguish, burning brightly as she considered what her next move would be. The day of the community meeting loomed like a storm. Claire felt swallowed by anxiety, adrenaline racing as she stepped into the church, familiar faces looking back, some supportive, some with judgment stamped across their brows. Raising her hand to speak, she felt her world tremble, a mixture of fear and determination swirling within. Jake deserves better. Her voice rang out, trembling but strong. We all do. She poured out the struggles, late nights working for pennies, empty stomachs, and the dreams she nurtured like fragile seedlings. When she paused, a heaviness filled the room, silence wrapping around them like a thick fog. Before she could process it, a woman she recognized stood up across the room. I lost my job last year, she confessed, the walls of separation crumbling. I thought I was alone. Eyes widened as others stood, voicing their silent battles. The weight of shared struggles lit a fire, the energy rising like a tide. Just when hope felt palpable, someone spat out a harsh comment, testing the fragile unity forming in the room. Claire's gaze darted back to her son, wondering if this moment of solidarity could withstand such scrutiny. Could their hearts merge in understanding? Or would judgment cast them back into isolation? With her heart racing, Claire stood determined, uncertain of where the path lay ahead. But for her son, she was ready to confront anything. What would this meeting truly reveal? Could vulnerability reshape their town's future? Claire inhaled sharply, the silence in the room hanging like a heavy curtain. She stood tall, her resolve hardening. Look, I get it. We all have our burdens. Her voice trembled but held firm. But we can't let fear pull us apart. We're in this together. She could see the faces around her soften. A man in the back nodded, holding the gaze of another who had recently lost a child to the drug epidemic that gripped their town. The shared pain visible between them was raw and real. Claire felt the heaviness in her chest lift just a little, but the tension still buzzed like electricity. Are we going to just let the stigma keep us down? Claire pressed, her heart thumping loud in her ears. Are we going to keep our heads down and pretend that everything is fine? Behind her, Jake shifted uncomfortably, as if waiting for the moment when his mother would finish speaking. But she could feel the weight of his eyes on her, and she knew she needed to push through. A young woman, tears in her eyes, called out, I'm scared. Her voice broke and the room held its breath. I'm scared for my kids. There's no food at home, but I'm trying. I don't want to fail them. Claire saw the weight of judgment melting away, replaced by understanding and empathy. She took a shaky breath, her mind racing with thoughts of her son. their struggles the nights filled with worry. You're not failing. Just getting up every day is a victory. Together we can make sure our kids know they are not alone. The murmur of agreement rippled through the room, a wave of shared emotion that lifted them all. Claire's heart soared, pulse racing as she noticed people beginning to voice their own fears and frustrations: job losses, medical bills, loneliness. Each story tethered them closer, weaving them into a tapestry of resilience. Yet, in the midst of healing, Claire's heart sank as she caught sight of a familiar face near the door: Greg, the town's self-appointed moral compass. His expression was one of contempt, and she felt an ice-cold grip on the warmth forming in the room. The moment he crossed his arms, Claire sensed the potential chaos he could unleash. "Is this a pity party?" he sneered, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Might as well hand out medals for our failures." The laughter that followed his words cut through Claire like a knife. "Stop," she shouted, her voice breaking the rising tension. "This isn't about pity. It's about strength. We are standing here, ready to fight together." The wave of support swelled again, but Claire's gaze remained locked on Greg. She had never considered confrontation as part of her journey, yet here she was, every fear bubbling to the surface: the fear of judgment, the failure to protect Jake, the threat of isolation was palpable. "I'm not ashamed of my struggles. My son deserves more, and I will fight for that, even if it means standing alone," Claire declared fiercely, resolving to stay strong against the storm. As Claire's fierce determination pushed against the negativity, she saw hope reflected in the eyes of those who had felt alone. They were ready to take the first small step together, moving toward compassion and understanding. But as she stood there, defiant and hopeful, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with new words. Claire hesitated, glancing down. Her heart plummeted as she read the message. "Mom, please don't make this harder. I really am done." Could her son's resolve truly waver at this pivotal moment? Claire felt the ground shift beneath her as she struggled to process the weight of his words. What would become of their newfound connection if Jake felt more isolated than ever? Would this community meeting become the lifeline they so desperately needed? Or was it just the calm before another storm? Claire's grip on her phone tightened, the world around her blurring. The voices, once a comforting murmur, faded into a distant echo. She felt the weight of her son's words wrapping around her like a vice. "I really am done." Those words clawed at her heart, echoing louder than anything Greg had said. Desperate to pull herself together, Claire focused on the faces in front of her. They were still watching, still listening. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, urgency propelling her. I just got a message from my son," she managed, her voice wavering. "He is struggling. We all are in some way." The weight of her admission hung heavy in the air. A collective intake of breath rippled through the room. Claire saw more than empathy in their eyes. She saw recognition and connection. A woman named Sarah, who shared her own story about losing a loved one, stepped closer. "You're not alone in this, Claire. We're all fighting our battles. Let us help you." Yeah. Another voice chimed in. "It doesn't have to be silent suffering anymore." Their warm encouragement ignited a spark of hope in Claire's heart. She felt that fierce determination bud once again, battling her despair. "Thank you," Claire said, her voice steadier. "But right now I'm scared. I can't lose him. I can't lose Jake." Tears stung her eyes, she blinked them back. "We've got to talk about how we combat this together, not just for ourselves but for our kids who need us the most." Greg stood at the edge, arms still crossed but now silent. His derision hung thick in the air, but any strength he had felt faltering. It seemed the room had rallied, now fortified by shared purpose and vulnerability. "I think we all have stories to tell," Claire continued. "Not just stories of hardship but of love and hope. And it's not just about our kids. It's about all of us. We're the ones who can change this." A chorus of murmurs filled the room, affirmations that they were ready to fight, ready to change the narrative in their town. Claire's heart soared. She breathed out the fear, letting it wash away as she embraced the warmth of the moment. "Let us share our stories," Claire proposed. "Let us create a support network, a lifeline for ourselves and our children. We need to break the stigma to reclaim our power." As people began to share their own struggles, some related to mental health, others echoing tales of addiction or despair, Claire felt a new energy ripple through her. She was no longer just a worried mother. She was a leader of a community bringing change. And just as hope filled the void left by despair, Claire's phone buzzed again. Slowly she took a look, dread pooling in her stomach. "Mom, it's worse than you think." Her heart raced as she read the message, her mind spinning. What was going on with Jake? What could be worse than what he had just told her? "Please keep talking," Claire urged the crowd, even as fear clawed at her insides. "We need this for all of us." But inside her thoughts were frantic. What if Jake was spiraling further away? Would this community ever rally enough to save him if she couldn't even save her own son? As she clutched her phone, she felt the weight of the moment bearing down on her. What if she'd have to choose between fighting for him and the fight they were all in together? Could she find a way to bring her son back before it was too late? The tension was palpable, and so were the questions swirling in her mind. What do you do when every moment feels like a race against time? Claire's heart thundered in her chest as she read the message again, her eyes scanning the words like they were an enemy's taunts. "It's worse than you think." What did that even mean? Tears threatened to spill, but she fought them back, forcing her focus on the room still buzzing with camaraderie. "Can we gather in a circle?" she asked, her voice breaking slightly. A few steps later they formed a tight-knit group, voices mixing, breathing life into the air around them. "I just want to say," Claire began, "that I know I've asked you all to share, but I need support right now." There was silence as everyone's eyes locked onto her. "My son Jake. He's in a dark place and I don't know what he needs. I can't touch him or talk to him." The lump in her throat swelled. "Then we'll reach out for you," Sarah said emphatically, her eyes sparkling with determination. "We can send him messages of love. Something that lets him know he's not alone. He matters." Cheers erupted from the group. Claire was taken aback by the outpour of enthusiasm, feeling oddly buoyed. Thank you. I just don't know if it will be enough." One by one the other parents began sharing their own fears and hopes, stories dancing around the room like a healing balm. Their words were raw and powerful. A father named Tom spoke about his daughter's struggles with anxiety, and the way it seeped into their home like an unwelcome guest. "I made her a scrapbook," he said, his voice thick with emotion, not just with pictures but letters, reminders of her strength. Claire felt warmth spreading through her, a sign of growing resolve. "Can we create something similar for Jake?" she proposed, in the spirit of connection. "Yes." The crowd responded in unison, energy rising like a tide. Claire felt hope swelling within her, a beacon piercing through the gloom. Just then, a soft sniffling broke through the chatter. It came from a woman Claire didn't know well but recognized as Janet, whose teenage son had also been struggling with depression. The sight of her tears was a reminder of the raw pain that lived just under the surface, and Claire's stomach twisted in empathy. "Janet," Claire said gently, approaching her. "Do you want to share?" The woman shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I want to fight for him. I just feel so powerless right now." "None of us are powerless," Claire said, feeling the truth of her words. "Together we're a force. We're warriors for our kids." "Warriors," the group echoed, and Claire saw strength flicker in Janet's eyes, something that gave her confidence. As voices continued trading stories, Claire's heart raced with possibilities. Each story wasn't just a recount of struggles. It was woven with threads of love and resilience. Maybe this was the lifeline Jake needed. Maybe for every message he received, there was a bit of warmth being sent into the abyss he faced. Her phone buzzed one more time and she hesitated. Suddenly, the weight of that unseen battle Jake was grappling with surged back into her mind. What if her son needed more than encouraging messages? What if the darkness was more profound than she could imagine? With her heart pounding, she opened the text. "Mom, I don't know how to talk to you." Fear gripped her stomach. But deep in her soul, Claire sensed that this was their moment to change, whether for him or for themselves. In a breathless moment, she realized there was no going back now. Would they find a way to help Jake reach out? Would he even let them in? An unfolding battle lay ahead, and she was ready to face it. Claire's hands trembled as she stared at the screen, the words blurring in and out of focus. "I don't know how to talk to you." The weight of those 9 little words crashed over her like a tidal wave. The world around her faded, replaced by a storm of thoughts and fears bursting within her. "What's wrong?" Sarah's voice broke through her haze, concern etched across her face. The circle felt tight, almost claustrophobic, as everyone's eyes focused on Claire, anticipation mingling with worry. "Jake, he just texted," Claire whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. "Yes, he is struggling." Gasps echoed in the circle, and the chatter hushed. They all felt the heaviness in the air. Claire had opened the door. Now everyone held their breath, waiting for her to step through it. "Let us tackle this together," Sarah spoke again, her tone steady and calm. "What does he need? You said he can't talk to you. Maybe we can help him find a way." Claire felt a deep wave of gratitude wash over her, mixing with the turmoil in her chest. "He needs to know he is not alone, that he can reach out." With a collective nod, the group sprang into action. Ideas flowed like a river, bursting its banks, words of encouragement, stories of personal struggles, art, music, anything they could think of that might reach Jake. "What if we made a video?" suggested Tom. "You could gather short clips of everyone sending him love and support. Something he can play when he is feeling low. Or a written letter in a scrapbook," added another parent. "He could read them anytime and know we're all rooting for him." The energy in the room surged, each suggestion igniting something brighter in Claire's chest. These parents weren't just sympathizing. They were fiercely jumping into action, ready to stand with her and Jake. But what if it's not enough? Claire felt the familiar tension rising. What if he doesn't respond? Or worse, what if he doesn't want to? The thought twisted her insides, dragging her deeper into doubt. "None of us can predict how he'll react," Janet said, her voice surprisingly steady despite her earlier tears. "But we're pushing through the fear, right? That's what it means to fight. It's about showing up no matter what." Nodding slowly, Claire felt a glimmer of hope flicker. "You're right. Just showing up, it's a start. If Jake can see that we care, maybe he'll find the strength to reach out." As they brainstormed together, Claire's heart began to settle. The room was buzzing with ideas, a living tapestry of love being woven in real time. She could almost picture Jake's face lighting up at the sight of a video overflowing with familiar voices, pushing back against his crushing loneliness. Amidst the fervor, her phone buzzed again and Claire nearly jumped. She held her breath as she opened the message. "I'm scared, Mom. I really need help." The pang of sorrow surged anew, intensifying the resolve that was hardening inside her. "Hey Jake, we're here for you," Claire started but stopped as she felt her breath hitch once more. How could she express what was happening within herself? "Just say it, Peter," a quiet dad in the corner encouraged her gently. "Tell him he is not alone. He needs to hear that." "Can I?" Claire hesitated, torn between wanting to respond immediately and needing the collective wisdom of the group. "Let us do it together," Sarah encouraged, placing her hand on Claire's shoulder. "Invite him to join us. Make it clear he is not on this path alone." Nodding with conviction, Claire typed slowly but deliberately, pouring love into every letter, every small punctuation mark. "We're fighting for you, Jake. You're worth it." As she pressed send, Claire felt a mix of dread and hope as uncertainty loomed. What if this was another attempt to reach a chasm too deep? Would her words be enough to bridge the gap? And then, just as Claire feared the worst, she caught sight of Janet's eyes, diamond bright with determination. "Maybe it's not just about this moment. What if we did these check-ins every week? Regular love, regular support?" Janet suggested, her voice steady. "Could commitment lead to healing and understanding?" Claire's mind raced ahead. What was the next step if Jake's reply didn't reflect the hope she felt? Would they have the courage to face deeper truths? In that moment, Claire locked eyes with each parent in the circle, connecting with the unwavering resolve they all shared, and braced herself for whatever lay ahead. The battle for Jake's heart had just begun. Claire's heart pounded like a drum against her ribs. The silence that followed her last message felt endless, a void filled with anxiety and uncertainty. She glanced at her phone, willing it to vibrate again with a response from Jake. Her friends filled the space around her, but instead of comfort, their quiet anticipation turned the air electric. What if he doesn't respond? Claire finally voiced the fear gnawing at her insides. What if he feels more lost after this? Sarah stepped closer, her presence warm and reassuring. He'll feel lost if we don't try. Sending that message took courage, Claire. You're opening the door, and you have us by your side. But doubts clung to Claire like shadows. The thought of Jake's pain made her stomach churn. She remembered when he was little and how he'd run to her with every scraped knee or broken toy, assured that she would make it all better. Now he seemed to be a world away, a stranger behind a locked door, hidden from the love that surrounded him. Maybe he just needs time, Tom said, trying to reinforce optimism. Teens are often resistant, but that doesn't mean he won't come around. Showing him we care consistently might be the key. Claire nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. You're right. If we make this a regular thing, like a group that checks in on him, it might encourage him to open up. Absolutely. The more love we pour into him, the better, Janet replied, her eyes shining with belief. Let us set a schedule for these check-ins. We can take turns reaching out. It's not only about giving him a message but making sure he feels it. The enthusiasm began to spread, filling the room with determination. They started drafting a plan, laying out weeks ahead, each one suggesting a unique approach, a letter here, a song there, little reminders of connection that would drip into Jake's world like sunlight breaking through a cloud. Claire's heart swelled, truly warmed by the outpouring of support. These parents weren't just words on a page, they were warriors on this fight with her. Yet, as they bounced ideas back and forth, her phone chimed again, snapping her back to reality. Her heart leaped. It's him, she exclaimed, fear and hope mingling in a wild dance as she opened the message. But it wasn't what she hoped for. I don't know how to let you in. I'm too far gone. The words pierced Claire like glass. She inhaled sharply, tears welling up in her eyes. The weight of Jake's despair felt heavier now, more palpable. His pain was real and raw, standing there between them like a ghost. This is hard, she managed to say, her voice trembling. But we have to show him that we believe he can step back into the light. He doesn't have to be gone forever. Janet's hand landed on Claire's arm, squeezing gently. Let him know we're not going anywhere. Even on days when he feels like he's lost, we will be there waiting for him to return. Claire dropped her head and took a shaky breath, pushing back the tears. She typed back as fast as her fingers would allow. You are not too far gone, Jake. We will stay right here for you. You'll never get rid of us. As soon as she hit send, Claire looked up to see all the parents nodding in agreement. They rallied around her, sharing affirmations and weaving a net of care that felt more resilient than before. They decided on their next steps: weekly texts to Jake, a family gathering with games and laughter, all designed to show him that connection still existed, that love was unbreakable and could overcome anything. But just as a flicker of hope took root, doubt crept back in. What if their attempts only pushed him further away? What if he never accepted their help? As that fear settled into her chest, Claire understood one undeniable truth: this fight would require every ounce of strength, not just from her, but from them all. Are we ready for this? She asked fervently, her voice more steady now. Everyone looked around at each other, determination written on their faces. Yes, they said in unison, with that energy propelling her. Claire felt herself preparing for the hardest battle of all, securing Jake's heart and mind for the long journey ahead. Within those walls of unwavering support, could they reach him? Would their love be strong enough to break through the barriers he had built around himself? The answer loomed ahead, uncertain and daunting, but Claire was ready to find out. The days that followed felt like an endless ebb and flow of hope and despair. Each morning, Claire awoke with a knot in her stomach and a hopeful glance at her phone, the screen still dark from the night before. As it flickered to life with a gentle buzz, her heart raced. Every message was a tremor in her chest, a reminder of Jake's distance, the distance she was hell-bent on closing. That it was a Friday afternoon when the group meeting was set. The parents huddled together, a tight-knit circle of concerned faces surrounded by the bustling energy of the community center. Claire felt the warmth emanating within the group. They had strategized, listened, and encouraged each other. Yet, as much as she wanted to believe Jake would respond positively, the shadow of his earlier words lingered heavily in her mind. Maybe we could do a video call, Sarah suggested, her voice bright yet unsure. It might feel more personal. I like that idea, Tom chimed in. He can see our faces. Maybe that will help him feel more connected. Claire nodded, her spirit lifted. Laughter and honesty, it could break the ice. I want him to see that he doesn't have to be alone. As they brainstormed ideas for the call, Claire's hopes began to kind of anchor her fear. They decided to do it about an hour later, gathering fun memories to share and reminding themselves of their love for Jake. Finally, as they set up the video call, Claire felt a rush of anxiety. The parents exchanged glances, shared smiles, but beneath it all fear simmered. Were they prepared for whatever response awaited them? The call connected. There he was. Jake appeared on the screen, his face a mask of uncertainty, shadows lying heavy under his eyes. Claire's heart ached. In that moment she wanted nothing more than to reach through the screen, wrap him in her arms, and assure him that he was safe. "Hey buddy," Claire said, her voice trembling with warmth even as sadness echoed behind it. "We miss you, we just wanted to see you. You okay?" Jake shrugged, his eyes darting away. "I guess that's okay," Claire responded, her heart heavy but hopeful. "You don't have to be, just know that we're here for you, no matter what." Silence hung in the air, thick and heavy, before Jake finally spoke. "It's hard to explain. I don't want to drag you all down." Claire felt tears prick at her eyes. "You could never drag us down, Jake. We're in this together. You're not alone. The things you feel, they matter to us. Just talk to us, please." Slowly, they began sharing silly stories from when Jake was little, funny moments that reminded him of the love that had always surrounded him. Laughter broke through some of the tension, though Jake's smile was tentative at best. But as they reminisced, Claire noticed his expression shift, raw and vulnerable. "I feel like I'm drowning," he finally confessed, voice cracking. "Like I'm just a burden." A wave of emotion washed over Claire. "You are not a burden. You are our light. You matter more than anything, Jake." There was a pause, then Jake wiped the back of his hand across his eyes. "I want to believe that." And as those words hung in the air, Claire could see a glimmer of hope piercing through the storm in Jake's eyes. It was just a trace, a flicker of what could be, but it was enough to stir something deep within her. "Let us help," she urged gently. "Let us figure this out together." Jake's gaze softened, the barriers crumbling just a little. "'Kay, maybe I can try." Heart racing, Claire felt a sense of renewed faith. This was a beginning, a step toward healing. Yet, another dark thought brushed against her mind. What if he felt this relief only to pull away again? The emotional tide of hope and fear collided within her as the call ended. As she looked at the other parents, their expressions mirrored her own. A mixture of hope and uncertainty ruled the room. Would this vulnerable moment lead to lasting change? Could they keep breaking down Jake's walls and truly reach his heart? In that bare vulnerability, Claire knew this fight was far from over. But now it was clear the path was not just about reaching Jake, but also about opening the doors to his heart again. As they wrapped up the call, Claire took a deep breath, determination fueling her spirit. "All right, team," she said, gathering the energy. "This is just the beginning. We've got some ground to cover, and I refuse to let him slip away again." With hope settling like a warm blanket on her shoulders, she had to wonder what would be the next step in their journey toward understanding and healing. The days after the call felt like a mixture of nervous anticipation and a lingering sense of fragility. Claire spent hours organizing her thoughts and refining her approach, determined to keep the momentum going. Every message, every conversation with the other parents, brought forth a sense of solidarity. They were all in this together, navigating uncharted waters. Each parent knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but that small flicker of hope remained. On Saturday, Claire decided to visit Jake's favorite spot, a small park just a few blocks from their house, shaded by towering trees and vibrant flowers. It had been a safe haven for him once, a place where he laughed with friends and found joy in the simplest of moments. As she walked, she could feel the warmth of the sun on her face, but the worry still nestled in her chest. What would he say if she suggested they talk here? Would it remind him of happier times, or deepen the shadows he felt? When she arrived, the park was enveloped in stillness. Claire took a moment to breathe, inhaling the floral notes and allowing herself to feel the weight of her love for Jake. It was heavy yet hopeful, each breath a reminder of the strength she wanted to share with him. She pulled out her phone, feeling the need to reach out. "Hey Jake, how about a walk at the park today? Just the two of us?" She typed hesitantly. The screen brightened as she hit send, her heart pounding with uncertainty. Seconds ticked by, each one stretching like an eternity. She knew it wasn't that easy. She didn't expect him to drop everything on a dime. But then, after what felt like ages, her phone buzzed with a response. "Okay, I'll be there in a bit," he replied. That simple acceptance sent a wave of relief through her. She rushed to find a comfortable spot on a bench, the sun filtering through the leaves above as she waited. The gentle rustle of branches above brought a sense of peace, but she could feel the butterflies take flight in her stomach. What would she say? What if the conversation turned heavy again? When she finally saw him walking up, Claire's heart nearly stopped. Jake wore a hesitant smile, yet his eyes betrayed the struggle within a mix of longing and uncertainty. As he sat down beside her, Claire felt the gravity of the moment. This was the chance she'd been waiting for. "Hey kiddo," she said, trying to keep her tone light. "Thanks for coming." Yeah, Jake's voice was barely above a whisper. He stared at his hands, kneading the fabric of his jeans. Claire knew that look all too well, the barrier he had built around himself. "I know things have been tough," she began, choosing her words carefully, "but I want you to know I'm here. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, we can face it together." He stayed silent, and the weight of the unspoken filled the air like a heavy mist. Claire reached out, placing her hand on his. The warmth of their contact was a flicker of connection. "You're not a burden, Jake. I promise you never have been." For a moment Jake didn't respond. Then finally, he sighed deeply and let his shoulders drop. "You don't get it," he said, voice cracking. "Feels like I'm failing you, like I can't be the son you want." As his words hung between them, Claire felt her heart shatter again. "Jake, it's okay to feel lost sometimes. You're still my son, my amazing son. You can share your fears and I'll listen. You don't ever have to go through this alone." A flicker of vulnerability crossed Jake's face, and for the briefest moment, she saw the boy from the videos laughing, carefree, full of life. "I don't know if I can, if I should. Let us take it one step at a time," Claire replied, squeezing his hand, willing him to feel her unwavering support. The sun started to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden hue around them, not quite hiding the shadows yet inviting warmth to melt away the chill of despair. Jake's breath caught, and Claire could feel the shift in the air, the potential for change sparking between them. What if I really could share what I'm feeling?" he whispered, a hint of hope threading through his words. In that moment, Claire realized how fragile and beautiful this interaction truly was. This was a crucial step, a crack in the wall surrounding Jake's heart. Her thoughts raced, heart racing too. What if this moment opened a door to what they both needed? She nodded earnestly. "Then I'd be right here, ready to listen," Claire said, her voice steady with resolve. As they sat together, the weight of what lay ahead became a little lighter. Perhaps they weren't just beginning to heal Jake, maybe they were on the brink of a revelation that could change everything. But deep down, Claire couldn't shake the question that lingered. Would Jake find the strength to finally open up? Could they untangle the webs of hurt and confusion? The afternoon sun lowered itself, painting the park in hues of amber and rose. Claire felt each moment stretching, uncertain and sweet. She sensed Jake's hesitation, a tightness in the air, like the calm before a storm. He looked out at the children playing nearby, their laughter ringing clear, a stark contrast to the quiet clouds collected in his mind. "Jake," Claire began, unsure of where to direct this conversation. She searched for a thread to pull with him, something to break the silence that loomed. "What's been on your mind? Maybe start with something small." He inhaled deeply, his brow furrowing as he finally looked her way. "I don't know, Mom, everything is just different." "Different how?" It felt like a minnow darting through a stream, elusive. She watched him swallow hard, his fingers pressing together as if he were trying to squeeze out words. "It's like I used to know who I was. Now I just feel," he faltered, looking down again. "I feel lost. Like I'm watching everyone else move forward and I'm stuck." Claire's heart clenched. She wanted to reassure him instantly, to tell him that life would fall back into place, but she saw a spark in his eyes. He wanted to say more. "And stuck is okay too. A lot of people feel that way, especially your age." He turned to her, and for a split second, she saw a flicker of that little boy who used to run and ask endless questions about the world, wide-eyed and brave. "But you don't understand. Everyone is expecting me to figure it out. My friends, my teachers, you. I don't want to fail you." The admission hung like a delicate thread between them. "Jake, listen to me. Failing is part of growing. There's no script for this, no perfect roadmap. It's okay not to have everything figured out." His shoulders relaxed slightly, and she could tell he was absorbing her words. "You're serious?" he asked, his voice softening. "Absolutely. You are not defined by what you achieve. You're defined by who you are, my son. The warmth of her touch broke through the fog, and for the first time, he didn't pull his hand away. I feel like I've disappointed everyone, he murmured. Disappointment comes from expectation, Claire said gently. What do you expect from yourself? Jake chewed his lip, contemplating deeply. I guess I just want to be enough. Jake, she said, leaning closer, brushing her fingers through his hair in a familiar gesture. You are enough. Right here, right now, just as you are. His eyes glimmered with unshed tears. Claire felt the urge to sweep him into her arms, to shield him from every doubt, but she held back. Instead, she leaned in closer, encouraging him to share more. Can I tell you something I never mentioned? Jake asked, his voice tentative. Of course. You can tell me anything. The air thickened with anticipation. I sometimes feel like I don't even want to get up in the morning. It's exhausting to pretend I'm okay. Those words hit Claire like a thunderbolt. The honesty struck at the core of her fears, the thought of her son battling unseen demons alone. I'm so proud of you for saying that. That takes a lot of courage. Jake's gaze fell to the grass and Claire took a breath, piecing together her next words carefully. There's no shame in feeling that way. We can find help together. It's okay to ask for it. He looked up then, vulnerability etched across his face, cracking the walls he'd built. But what if it doesn't help? Then we try again. Claire's heart raced, but she kept her tone steady. You won't be alone in this. It's okay to be scared. As they sat in the fading light, Claire felt warmth pool in her chest. This was a breakthrough, but there was a world of work ahead. The path was not clear, but it was there, a shared journey beginning to unfold. Mom, can we talk about it more later? He asked hesitantly, hope seeping into his voice. Absolutely. Whenever you need. With that promise shared, Claire felt the tension retreat. Yet, a gnawing worry lingered. Would this newfound openness last once they returned to the noise of real life? As they rose to leave, a realization hit her: this was only the beginning. Could their bond survive the next storm waiting on the horizon? Claire's heart raced as they walked toward home. The following days felt like a continuous thread of hope and uncertainty for Claire and Jake. They shared new messages, but each one was a step forward tinged with the weight of the past. For a while, Jake seemed more present, his laughter occasionally bubbling up like an unexpected spring of joy. Yet, Claire knew they were navigating a delicate path, and the shadows of doubt loomed close. One evening, they sat together on the couch, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating their faces. The air hummed with the comfort of shared silence, broken only by the breathing of a mother mindful of her son's thoughts. It was Jake who finally broke that silence, his voice hesitant yet layered with determination. Can we talk about getting help? Claire's heart soared as hope surged within her. Of course, Jake. We can find someone together, someone who understands what you're going through. An unexpected smile crept onto Jake's lips, the unguarded spark of his younger self visible for an instant. I might have waited too long, though. What if it doesn't help? His words echoed the doubts, those heavy chains of worry that often wrapped around Claire's heart too. It's never too late. Remember, this is about you taking steps that feel right. We'll do it together. Breaking the silence again, Claire took a deep breath. You showed so much strength asking for help. I'm proud of you. Her words hung like a warm blanket between them. Jake laughed softly, the tension in his shoulders relaxing slightly, shrugging off old fears. As they continued conversing about leading a healthier life, Claire noticed Jake's posture shift. The conversation was no longer just about getting help, it was also about the accountability they would create together. Can we get those messages from the group again? He asked, suddenly sparked with interest. Claire felt a rush of warmth. Absolutely. They need you just as much. You're part of this. And honestly, so am I. Together they brainstormed who to reach out to, who could help initiate this process. Jake's usual hesitation faded with each suggestion, his spirit filling the room. It was a side of him Claire had missed for so long, the thrill of possibility igniting under their familiarity. Days turned into weeks, but the conversations never waned. They pulled open new doors together, parents rallying around, sending waves of support that had turned into a chorus of strength. Each encouraging word magically stitched another piece into Claire's heart, cutting through the fears and worries, lining their souls with hope. Then one Saturday a breakthrough moment emerged. They visited a counselor together. Going into the small office felt like stepping into an opportunity. Jake sat beside Claire, and together they reveled in the shared experience, mapping out their feelings with gentle guidance. In the days that followed, Claire found Jake a little more open each time. They shared snacks, laughter, and conversations filled with the remnants of their pasts, and slowly they began building their future. He started showing excitement about new hobbies and activities, re-emerging as the kid Claire once knew. Through conversations, tears, and revelations, Claire felt the invisible walls around Jake crumbling. They filled moments with resilience, crafted their own sunshine in storms, and rekindled hope, shifting each respite into pure light. "Mom, I think I'm starting to understand that it's okay to be imperfect," Jake confessed one evening, his eyes reflecting an honesty she hadn't seen in years. The pride in Claire's heart swelled, anchored by love and gratitude for every step they traversed together. "And I'm ready to look ahead, not just a few steps but further." Tears blurred Claire's vision. "We can always look ahead as long as we do it together," she said, reaching for him. Their fingers interlaced, a vow of togetherness that swirled around them like an embrace. And with each moment, each small success, both of them began to thrive beyond fears, transcending into a heightened connection. They had fought against darkness, and together, Claire and Jake emerged transformed, glimmers of hope lighting their way. Finally, as she tucked Jake into bed one night, he whispered, "I'm glad I didn't lose you." Smiling through tears, Claire brushed her fingers through his hair. "You could never lose me no matter what." This was just the beginning. They could face whatever bears down on them together. Now, dear friends, as you finish this journey with Claire and Jake, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for more transformative stories. Leave a like now, it fuels the algorithm and keeps these tales alive. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this incredible journey, and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the power of lifting one another up.